Good day to you. Day 254. I don't know why I've started saying what day it is at the beginning of these titles days at all, and I'm certain that when I put those titles in, they're pretty accurate, so having to remember it before I've actually done the thumbnail seems a bit pointless, doesn't it? But it is what it is anyway. So today's been a particularly, I say this all the time, I must have a different intro. I'll think about that. Future when you're reviewing these, figure it out. Right, so 3 identical cameras. We're going to talk about cameras today. We have some studio cameras at work, as I say, 3 identical ones, and another camera that's not identical but has the same internal components. So we've got Blackmagic Studios and Blackmagic Pocket. Now, on paper, specification-wise, they are the same camera. The sensor's the same, the internal optics. Oh, there isn't any internal optics because they're actually mirrorless. But you know what I mean? They're functionally the same camera. They have the same settings. They should have the same colour replication. Everything should be fine. They should all look fine. So when you put them together in post, for your different camera angles, you stitch it all together and it should look, you know, fine. Pretty good. This is not the case, however. No, not at the moment. So there's some deviation between those 4 cameras. So to get to the bottom of what that is, I mean, it's not an issue because you can fix it in post, no memes, but obviously that increases the amount of work required. It would be better if the image straight out of camera, even though it comes out as raw footage log, is as flat as possible, gives the highest dynamic range. But obviously there's some variance. It'd be better, more efficient if they all looked identical, and then we put our grade on top of it, make any tweaks to skin tones, and it increases the optimization of that workflow of getting a video from filmed to on platform. But as I say, there has been some quite dramatic differences in the footage that's come out of the Pocket, Blackmagic Pocket. It's a ridiculous name because it's a massive camera, compared to the studio cameras, which is an interesting one because, as I say, other than the housing that they come in, they're the same camera. So what we've done is we've done effectively a lineup, shot the same test footage, test cards, grey card, to make sure everything is balanced, and then dial in the settings on each one. And there is a very small but noticeable difference in the Pocket. So I think this goes to show that what the specification says on any product, and I've had similar things with memory and computers where, you know, you have to make sure they're matched pairs. So even though technically they're the same, if they come out of different production runs, there are deviations, and that's always going to be the case regardless. But this is another one of those interesting examples of where understanding the basics of how to fault find, problem solve, and account for those changes is really important, because if we hadn't gone through this process, we would have carried on how we were. The argument would have been, no, the same camera, they're not, in that case. And we could have lost X amount of time, hours, days, weeks, months, years, depending on how far you want to project that into the future in terms of output, which is a bit daft. And it's the same thing with, like I say, with computers, memory, that kind of thing, and anything like that. Hell, I've even had it with, you know, paints in my hobby life. They change the formula over time. The colour might be the same on the label, whatever it is, Chaos Black. The actual formulation changes ever so slightly. So if you've got a large amount of something that you want to paint consistently, then it's best to buy multiple copies of the paint to make sure you have enough of that product to achieve your end goal. Slightly different because, well, I can't record everything this is why we standardise things. You know, this is why we have ISO standards, for example. I guess my point is, you can't trust everything that you read. Even with the best intents, there is that variation there, isn't there? Because, you know, you're always going to have fluctuation, whatever it is. The best way to mitigate that is to do your own independent calibration testing, purchase runs, whatever it is that you need to do to put in that extra step, just to make sure that you have, if it's important, that consistency in being able to do something. You should do it. I think we talked a couple of weeks ago about there being no shortcuts, and this is again so true. It's just another example of where that is the case in life. It feels like there's a lot of that's not correct. There's a mentality these days, and I see this working in the education sector. Not all students by any means, but a lot of students now feel this sense of entitlement. They don't want to put in the effort. And it's not just students, it's people in general. Weight loss is another huge one we've talked about. Looking for pills to lose weight, to, you know, gastric bands, and it's like, stop eating as much, burn some calories. The effort's there. You need to put in the effort. There isn't a shortcut, you know, and it's non-maintainable. Like, you've got to make these changes, and that become a matter of course. It's like that becomes a lifestyle choice. In the example of weight loss, you need to have a consistent exercise routine to maintain that weight if that's what you want, and you want to eat bad food or more calorific food. If it's a work thing, things will change. You have to have a process, and have to understand that, you know, some of those things, there isn't going to be a shortcut. You have to do it the long form way to get to the end goal, and that's just how it is. Somebody's not going to do it for you. If you try and take the shortcut, it's going to take you longer in the long run. Building things, use better materials, they will last longer. You'll have to do it less in the long run. Removing grass from a garden, remove it, you won't have to cut it, rather than cutting it every week. All of these things. But yeah, I'm deviating slightly from the point. The point is, effort is unavoidable, and you've got to put that in if you want to get the long-term benefits and a better product at the end of it. I guess that's the learning from today. I say learning, not something that I do, so I've already learned it, but I think it is one that's worth talking about. And hopefully, if in the future the crotch goblin is watching these videos, talking to you, child, then I hope that I've instilled in you a good understanding that you can't take shortcuts. Not all the time, at least. Occasionally, if you can do stuff the right way, and you know an effective shortcut that's going to let you get to the same goal, yes, fine. But you can't always take the shortcut. Sometimes you've just got to go the long way around things. Right, I'm going to leave it there for today. Got to get home, and hopefully I'm going to get that bracket done today. Yesterday I was a bit frazzled after work, so I didn't get as much done in the evening as I wanted. Okay, I'll catch you later. Don't forget to utilise the shed for body storage should you need to, and I'll catch you tomorrow. See ya.